Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that affects all of us but rarely gets talked about. The voices in our heads. You know the ones, those whispers that pop up when you're about to take a risk, try something new, or even just go about your day. Sometimes they're encouraging, pushing you to keep going when things get tough. But other times, they're not so kind. They're the voices that say things like, "You're not good enough. Why even try?" Or, "You're going to fail." Sound familiar? These negative inner voices can hold us back, make us doubt ourselves, and keep us from living the lives we truly want. But here's the good news. You don't have to let them control you. In this video, we'll explore where these voices come from, how they impact us, and most importantly, how you can overcome them. So, if you're ready to take control of your thoughts and silence that inner critic, let's get started. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell. Let's dive in. Let's start by understanding what we mean by inner voices. These are the thoughts that run through your mind almost constantly, like a murmuring stream of ideas, judgments, and reactions. Sometimes they're helpful. They might cheer you on during a tough workout, saying, "You've got this, just one more mile," or calm you down when you're stressed, reminding you it's going to be okay. These are the voices we love to hear. They're supportive, encouraging, and rooted in our better nature. But then there are the other voices, the ones that aren't so kind. These are the voices that criticize, doubt, and belittle. They're the ones that say things like, "You're not smart enough, you'll never succeed," or "Why even bother? You're just going to fail." These voices can feel overwhelming, and they often drown out the positive ones. They don't represent our best selves or our most mature capacities. Instead, they reflect our fears, insecurities, and past experiences. The tricky thing about these voices is that they often feel so real. When they say, "You're not good enough," it's easy to believe them. But here's the truth. These voices aren't facts. They're just thoughts. Thoughts that have been shaped by our experiences, our environment, and the people around us. And the good news is, because they're just thoughts, we have the power to change them. Understanding your inner voices is the first step to overcoming them. Let's keep going and explore where these voices come from and how they impact us. Now that we've talked about what inner voices are, let's dig into where those negative ones come from. Because here's the thing, every inner voice you hear, whether it's kind or critical, started as an outer voice. That's right. The voices in your head weren't born there. They were planted there by the people and experiences you've encountered throughout your life. Think about it. When you were a child, you didn't have a fully formed inner voice. You learned how to think about yourself and the world by observing and absorbing the words and behaviors of the people around you. Maybe it was a parent who was quick to criticize when you made a mistake, or a teacher who made you feel like you'd never be good enough, no matter how hard you tried. It could have been a sibling who teased you relentlessly, or a bully at school who made you feel small. These voices, often coming from authority figures or people you looked up to, carried weight, and over time, they became part of your own internal dialogue. But it's not just people from our past who shape our inner voices. Society plays a huge role too. We live in a world that often ties our worth to our achievements. Think about the messages we're bombarded with every day. Be successful. Be perfect. Don't fail. These societal pressures can create a voice in our heads that says, "If you're not winning, you're losing," or "If you're not the best, you're nothing." The reason these voices stick around is that they were often repeated, over and over, until they became ingrained in our way of thinking. They felt true at the time, and because they came from people or sources we trusted or feared, we didn't question them. But here's the important thing to remember. Just because these voices feel familiar doesn't mean they're accurate or helpful. Understanding where these voices come from is the first step to breaking free from them. Let's keep going and explore how they impact our lives. Now that we know where negative inner voices come from, let's talk about how they affect us. These voices aren't just harmless thoughts. They have a real, tangible impact on our emotions, behaviors, and overall quality of life. First, there's the emotional toll. When your inner voice is constantly criticizing you, it's hard to feel good about yourself. You might start to believe the things it says, that you're not smart enough, not talented enough, or just not enough, period. This can lead to feelings of anxiety, low self-esteem, and even depression. It's like carrying around a bully in your head, and over time, that negativity can wear you down. But it doesn't stop there. These voices also shape the way we behave. For example, if your inner voice is always telling you that you're going to fail, you might start avoiding challenges altogether. You might procrastinate on important tasks, shy away from opportunities, or give up before you even try. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. You don't succeed because you never really give yourself a chance. Negative inner voices can also sabotage our relationships. If you're constantly doubting yourself, you might struggle to trust others or believe that you deserve love and respect. You might become overly sensitive to criticism, or you might push people away because you're convinced they'll eventually see your flaws and leave. Understanding the impact of these voices is crucial because it shows why it's so important to address them. In the next section, we'll talk about how to identify and challenge these voices. Before we can overcome our negative inner voices, we need to learn how to identify them. This might sound simple, but it's not always easy. These voices can be so ingrained in our thinking that we don't even realize they're there. They've become like background noise, always present but rarely noticed. So how do we start tuning in? The first step is to practice self-awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts, especially in moments of stress, failure, or self-doubt. What are you saying to yourself? Are you kind and supportive or harsh and critical? For example, if you make a mistake at work, does your inner voice say, "It's okay, everyone makes mistakes"? Or does it say, "You're so stupid, you'll never get this right"? One helpful tool is journaling. Take a few minutes each day to write down your thoughts. Don't filter or judge them. Just let them flow onto the page. Over time, you'll start to notice patterns. Are there certain phrases or themes that keep coming up? These are your negative inner voices, and identifying them is the first step to changing them. Let's move on to how we can do that. Now that we've identified our negative inner voices, it's time to tackle the big question. How do we overcome them? The good news is, you're not stuck with these voices forever. With the right strategies, you can replace them with kinder, more supportive thoughts. Here are some practical steps you can start using today. 1. Replace negative voices with positive ones. The first step is to actively replace those negative voices with positive ones. Remember, every inner voice started as an outer voice. So just as you internalized criticism, you can internalize encouragement. Find new voices. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. This could be a supportive friend, a therapist, or even an author whose words resonate with you. Pay attention to how they speak to you and about you. Positive affirmations. Create a list of affirmations that counteract your negative self-talk. For example, if your inner voice says, "You're not good enough," replace it with, "I am worthy just as I am." Repeat these affirmations daily until they start to feel natural. Visualization. Imagine a kind, compassionate figure, like a mentor or a loved one, speaking to you in a supportive way. What would they say? How would they encourage you? Let their voice become your own. 2. Separate self-worth from achievement. Many of us tie our self-worth to our accomplishments. If we succeed, we feel good about ourselves. If we fail, we feel worthless. But here's the truth. Your worth isn't determined by your achievements. Challenge the link. When your inner voice says, "You're only valuable if you succeed," ask yourself, is that true? Would I judge a friend so harshly for failing? Affirm your worth. Practice saying things like, "I am worthy of love and respect even when I fail," or "My value isn't tied to my success." Celebrate effort, not just results. Start valuing the effort you put into things, even if the outcome isn't perfect. For example, instead of focusing on a mistake at work, acknowledge the hard work you put into the project. 3. Develop a kinder inner voice. One of the most powerful ways to overcome negative inner voices is to cultivate a kinder, more compassionate inner dialogue. Self-compassion. Treat yourself the way you would treat a close friend. If they were struggling, would you criticize them? Probably not. You'd offer kindness and support. Do the same for yourself. Gentle language. Replace harsh, critical language with gentle, encouraging words. For example, instead of saying, "You're so stupid," try, "It's okay to make mistakes. You're learning." Pause and reflect. When you notice a negative thought, pause and ask yourself, "Would I say this to someone I love?" If the answer is no, reframe the thought in a kinder way. By using these strategies consistently, you can start to shift your inner dialogue from critical to empathetic. It won't happen overnight, but with time and practice, you'll notice a profound change in how you think about yourself and your abilities. So let's keep going. We're just getting started. Sometimes the best way to understand how to overcome negative inner voices is to hear how others have done it. Let's look at a few real-life examples that can inspire and motivate us. Take Sarah, for instance. She grew up with critical parents and carried that harsh inner voice into adulthood. At work, she constantly doubted herself, thinking, "I'm not smart enough." But Sarah decided to take action. She started working with a therapist and began journaling daily, reframing her negative thoughts into positive affirmations. Over time, her inner voice became kinder, and she started to believe in herself more. Today, she's thriving in her career and feels more confident than ever. Then there's James, who struggled with anxiety and self-doubt for years. His inner voice told him, "You're going to fail." James tried mindfulness and meditation, learning to observe his thoughts without judgment. He also surrounded himself with supportive friends who encouraged him to take risks. Slowly but surely, James silenced his inner critic and replaced it with self-compassion. Now he's pursuing his dream of starting his own business. These stories show that overcoming negative inner voices is possible. If Sarah and James can do it, so can you. Let's keep going. You've got this. While working to overcome negative inner voices, it's normal to face challenges. Let's talk about a few common ones and how to handle them. First, there's relapse into negativity. Even after progress, you might slip back into old patterns. When this happens, don't beat yourself up. Acknowledge the setback, refocus on positive affirmations, and keep moving forward. Another challenge is impatience. Change takes time, and it's easy to get frustrated. Set small, achievable goals and celebrate your progress along the way. A lack of support can also make the journey harder. If you don't have encouraging people in your life, seek out supportive communities or consider therapy. Finally, there's self-doubt. You might wonder if change is possible. Remind yourself of your why you want to overcome these voices, and let that motivate you. Facing these challenges is part of the process, but with persistence and the right strategies, you can overcome them. Let's wrap this up with some final thoughts. Today we've explored the world of inner voices, where they come from, how they impact us, and most importantly, how we can overcome the negative ones. We've talked about replacing harsh self-criticism with kinder, more supportive thoughts, separating self-worth from achievement, and surrounding ourselves with positive influences. The journey to overcoming negative inner voices isn't always easy. There will be setbacks and moments of doubt, but every small step counts. Every time you challenge a negative thought or replace it with a positive one, you're rewiring your brain and creating a healthier, more compassionate inner dialogue. So what's next? Start by paying attention to your thoughts. Identify the negative voices and ask yourself, is this true? Is this helpful? Then, take action. Use the strategies we've discussed, whether it's journaling, practicing mindfulness, or seeking support. If you found this video helpful, share your experiences in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. And remember to check the links in the description for resources and tools to help you on your path. Together, we can silence those negative voices and create a kinder, more empowering inner world. Thanks for watching.